It's a penultimate episode of Iron Man 2020. It's issue number 5 of the 6-issue series with all the tie-ins and everything else. Tony Stark against Arno Stark, fighting off a technology threat in the future, the AI rebellion. This was Marvel's first event out of the gate, and due to the pandemic, it's finishing up a little bit late, but we're almost through it. So let's go. Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm a completist, which is the only reason why I am continuing to do these reviews. I've done every other issue of Iron Man 2020. This is number 5. So with dread, I look forward to one more after this. I just want to be upfront at the beginning. I don't like this at all. This series. So I also have a policy. I don't do reviews just to roast them. So I'm finding it very difficult to kind of wade through this. But at the same time, I also finish what I start. So we're going to finish this. So I'm going to try and be as objective as I can, answer the question of, is this for you? And kind of go through it. But hopefully we'll keep the snark and the chaos down. I can't open that door because I do believe I would be pretty decent at roasting, but when you open that door up, I won't be able to shut it again. So it's better to just leave it all closed and not go down that crazy path. But anyway, this is Dan Slott, Christos Gage helping doing the writing here. Artist is Pete Woods doing the penciling and the inking. We've talked about that before, that this art looks rushed at different times. And I think Pete Woods is a decent artist, but this having him do both, and a lot of these pieces are doing him no favors here, which I feel bad for him about that. Meanwhile, as I've also said before, this storyline was basically Dan Slott's pitch for his vision of Tony Stark, Iron Man. Now, as we know, his vision is coming to an end 2 issues from now, basically the final Iron Man 2020, and then we're getting a relaunched Iron Man, which goes back to the basics. And the promise of an Iron Man that's trying to go kind of back to the basics, really kind of deal with his armor and have good old-fashioned adventures, could not be more welcome than reading this issue and this event. It's hard to believe that 2020, a year only comes around once, and this was what we got. What a painful place to be. Anyway, the issue begins with a little bit of a summary, a big splash page. I think Pete Woods does a decent job with this. It's basically laying out kind of Arno's motivation of how he was born and had this disease and stuck an iron lung, and then there was a big kind of googly-eyed monster that was coming from space, and he was going to try and stop it, but then this robot rebellion happened, and he's got to save everybody by enslaving them, basically. So he's up kind of monologuing a bit to Sunset Bain and the Iron Legion, and that basically that he's going to turn all the humanity into mind slaves, and that Sunset Bain is sitting here with the cat, and she's got her glasses, and Arno has turned his parents into kind of like a big hulking, his virtual AI parents into like a slim robot kind of woman and a big kind of hulking juggernaut-like robot, because that's what you do to your parents. Anyway, meanwhile, on the 13th floor, which is the virtual space, this kind of all tied out from Escape and that whole storyline that a lot of people kind of forgot. Remember when Tony Stark was dating the Wasp? Yeah, that was a thing. Just like less than a year ago. Anyway, Tony's talking to Friday, and he's working in his forge. He's got an infinite forge and virtual tools, so he's building something kind of manually with his shirt off, which doesn't make a lot of sense why he's hammering something together, but it's code, and they basically, his team of robot AI have found they're ready to whoop some ass, says Herbie, and they've got the body and some DNA samples that they took, and they're ready to kind of recreate Tony Stark. Meanwhile, Sunset Bain decides she's not, she's kind of talking to her human self because she's cloned now as AI. It's not exactly how AI works, but that's okay. Anyway, she decides she's going to change. She gets some heavy duty makeup there for her eyes to look super sinister. I guess that's what you do. You don't need the glasses anymore. So she dumps the glasses and puts on some, crazy makeup She's talking to her cat. The cat, meanwhile, is a spy because that's how we got here. And she kills off herself. And the robot's like, holy. And then she worries she's being too extra. But anyway, the cat runs off to start using the computer. And Sunset Bain, who's renamed herself Madam Menace, because yeah. Anyway, she's kind of telling the cat. I have to take a pause every now and then for my brain to kind of reset. That's it's like rebooting because it runs into a dead end. So the cat gets all snarky with her when she reveals that the cat is the secret mole and gives a good old meow. That's yeah. I hope this cat, like a lot of creators, like Kelly Thompson in West Coast Avengers had the shark, the land shark little baby, and then she got the land shark baby moved over to Deadpool, where in theory it could remain in canon. It was this weird kind of, this is a character I created, and I want to keep it going. This cat needs to go. Like the cat, please don't keep the cat around. Anyway, in comes Tony Stark's partners, and they bring in his crappy body, and we get a little lesson on how cats clean themselves, and they attach back its voice modulator bit. And then we get this very weird sequence where Jocasta is fighting Madam Menace. That just rolls right off the tongue. Anyway, and Madam Menace saying, I made you pretty and agreeable. And Jocasta's like, again, you made me a slave. Pew, pew, pew. And they're both fighting. Then Jocasta realizes that, she needs to give her a reminder that she's AI. And so she uses her, fiber finger things to basically download an obedience OS and make Sunset Bain, Madam Menace, a slave. So it all happens in the same page. It's like, I made you pretty and agreeable. You made me a slave. Now I'm going to make you a slave. And then then Jocasta proceeds to tell her to do some dancing, like not a ballet, perhaps the robot. Yeah. All right, so in comes Tony Stark, and he's dressed in a suit because he's a hologram, and then he basically quickly I'm not sure how he puts himself into the green goo and makes himself, it gives him a shave and fixes him all up. He's got wet hair and a new kind of suit-ish. It's got the gold knee pads. I always wonder when these suits, they give him a suit with, what are the knee pads for? I've got questions. Anyway, above the Stark space station, Arno has hauled up there, and he's getting ready to create his unstoppable army, waiting for the call to battle. It's mind ray. I think I saw the same plot in an episode of G.I. Joe. I think Serpentor had the mind ray, and he was going to turn everybody into snakes, as I recall. I think that's what happened. I think he turned Cobra Commander into a snake for a while. I don't. This is a movie. It was not like the Transformers movie was awesome, by the way. That one, Optimus Prime gets killed, and they're like, "You got the touch," and you got this rock music going on. And then the G.I. Joe movie followed it up. It kind of promised to give the same kind of big moments and feels. It did not, but that's okay. So anyway, he's getting ready to fire his big balls down on the planet. And up comes Tony Stark, uses the elevator, which is weird. None of this makes any goddamn sense at all. But anyway, the 13th floor escape elevator allows Tony Stark, who's now a human again-ish, sorta. I don't know. Anyway, he shows up, and him and all his buddies bust through the elevator, and they start firing away. And then. Tony Stark's dad says, stepdad, I guess, I don't know, I'll scrub your foul circuits, you tin-plated hooligan. And then they say, my son's about to enslave all the organic beings who will enslave you, and we're better than flesh bags. I don't know. There's a kind of a clunky fight that's weird. And then Arno unleashes all of his armor. But that's where we learn that Tony Stark's been building he's a futurist, so his entire suit is made of an entire world. The Escape, it's a solid hologram virtual armor that's only limited as his imagination, so he can basically dream up and think about any weapon, and it will just appear. And so he decides the best way to do it is to punch him right in the gob. So he punches the helmet off of Arno. They're in space at this point, so I think Arno's probably dead now, or I don't know. The faceplate goes flying off. Tony Stark doesn't have one either, but maybe he's protected by escape hollow mesh. But he basically breaks Arno's arm and then like rips the suit kind of off of him. But he threw Arno back onto the mind control switch. So Arno Stark is going back here to press the button on his big balls to enslave the planet. And just as he's about to push the button, he could dream up anything. He could dream up like a giant protective shield around the button, I think, rebooting. Sorry. And then suddenly the Singularity shows up. This is not the Singularity for Dawn of X, although that would be the one thing that would kind of save this whole thing, is if they tied into that, I guess-ish. I don't know. Anyway, Tony realizes that Arno was right. Here comes the giant Singularity to technology, organics. Everything will be consumed by this thing with the big mouth. Arno's balls are not going to be able to solve this problem. So then Arno kind of gets to say, "Time's up. We're in trouble now," and that's how the issue ends. This comic is almost over. So is this for you? I mean, no. Let's just sorry. No, of course it's not for you. What are we? I mean, I think if you enjoy paying for comics and not reading them, then this is a good book for you. If you have never read anything science fiction before and you don't care about things not making sense, this book is for you. If you like Pete Woods' art, this book is for you. If you like talking cats and you're willing to overlook the high price point and the 16 pages that do not include a talking cat, then this book is for you. Hey, what did you think of this issue? Do you leave a comment below? Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, follow me on social media or email. One more of these left. I'm going to get through it. There's no way I'm going to be able to not be super sarcastic. Thanks for listening.